Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and jump on into the agenda. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our webinar on preparing for FSC Forest Week. So we're going to start by giving an overview about what FSC Forest Week is, moving into details on the 2026 campaign and why you should participate. We'll share some inspiration from past years and then dig into how you can get involved, including going through a live walkthrough of where you can find the assets in the brand hub. We will end by sharing a few tips for success before opening it up for questions and answers. I don't expect the content to take very long to get through, so we should have plenty of time for questions at the end. We do ask, though, that you do hold those questions until the Q&A session. You can either submit your questions in the chat or at the end, if you would like to raise your hand and ask your question live, you can do that as well, whatever your preference is. So, what is Forest Week? FSC Forest Week is a global celebration of forestry. This is a week-long online campaign that brings together organizations from around the world to celebrate responsible forest management and to inspire action. The aim is really to help consumers understand the value of choosing FSC certified products and how much of a difference that simple choice can make. This year, the campaign is taking place from September 21st through the 27th. The theme this year is Do One Thing for Forests. We're spreading the message that every action counts, from choosing certified products, sharing your sustainability story, educating your audience about forests, or even just spending time outdoors. Every action helps promote sustainable forest management. And why should you join? So, this campaign is a great opportunity for you to share your sustainability story, highlight the certified products you use or sell, connect with your customers through meaningful content, and be a part of a global movement. And there's really no one right way to participate in this online campaign. You can make it your own. We'll show you some examples on how to get started in the next couple of slides here, but really your engagement level is up to you if you want to participate in every day of the campaign or if you just want to post once during the week. It's completely up to you what your level of participation looks like. So, Forest Week participation, like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can successfully engage by connecting the campaign to your products, your people, or your sustainability story. You can use the assets that are pre-made by FSC, which we will show later on in the Brand Hub walkthrough, or create your own. It's really up to you, again, to kind of choose your level of participation. And we're going to have some examples here that kind of walk through a few different options. So starting off with this post from WWF from last year, this is a carousel post on Instagram that showcases some of their beautiful forestry imagery that they have, along with a customized caption about the importance of forests and responsible forestry. So this is an example of an organization that decided to showcase their own sort of imagery and then use a caption that was based on the captions we provide, but customized to fit their audience and their story. So that is definitely one option that you can do. And then another option would be this example from Bamboo Living. You can see that they sort of did a combination of using the pre-made assets that were provided to them, as well as creating their own assets. So on Instagram, you can see they had a few of these posts that utilized those social media assets provided by FSC. And then they created a post of their own as well that kind of goes through some of the key unique benefits of FSC and why they choose FSC for materials for their products as a brand. So that's another option as well. And then finally, this is an example from Procter& Gamble of an Instagram story post. And in this post, they actually used the stop motion video that was made previously, and they reposted it, connecting it to Forest Week. So that is also an option. If you have content that was already made, you want to repost it or sort of change it a little bit and have it fit that Forest Week story, that is always an option as well. So now that you have hopefully seen a little bit of inspiration from past years, let's get into what assets are available to you. So everything you need to participate in this campaign is found on the Brand Hub, including posts for each day of the campaign, as well as pre and post campaign posts, caption ideas, and other digital and print materials. So if you are an FSC promotional license holder or an FSC certificate holder, you will be going to the Brand Hub to receive these assets. If you are a member or an NGO and you are registering to be a part of this campaign, you'll receive assets separately because you don't have access to the Brand Hub. So if you have questions on that, please let us know. But the Brand Hub walkthrough is going to be specifically for promotional license holders and certificate holders where you can go in and access these. So with that, let's get into the actual walkthrough. And so bear with me quickly while I change our screens here. Okay, and you should hopefully be seeing the Brand Hub now.
All
So when
good.
you Great. Thank you, Kate. So when we log into the Brand Hub, this is where you will be shown the homepage here. So this should look familiar. If you've been in here before, you have the various trademark designs, assets, campaign, and guidelines. So campaigns is where we're going to go to find these Forest Week assets. You can click campaigns here, or you could also select campaigns down here. And when you do that, you'll be taken to a page where you see the FSC Forest Week 2026 campaign header. So you can go ahead and click that, and that is going to take you to the Forest Week campaign page. You've got more information on kind of about the campaign. Again, the dates that it is happening. And if you scroll down, you will see this section here where you can register to receive the asset. So I've already registered, so yours is going to look a little different if you have not registered yet. You would go ahead and click that, and it'll walk you through just a few registration steps. So really, this is just to get your contact information. There's a question around if you'd be if FSC can share the content that you post, things like that. So it's important to go ahead and go through that. And then once you submit your registration, you will automatically be able to access the asset. So there's no like waiting period there. If you do have any questions or concerns or issues as you are registering, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to work with you and kind of walk you through that in more detail. But it should be a pretty straightforward registration page. So once you have registered, you would go ahead and go down to the toolkits. You can see there are a few different languages available for you to use. We're going to go through the English one. However, if you do plan to do promotion in other languages, there are quite a few of those assets already translated for you here as well. Okay, so this is where you'll land when you open the English toolkit. I recommend, as you're looking through these assets, to use these filters up at the top. I find that a lot more helpful to kind of narrow down the focus of what you're looking for versus having 5 pages of all of the assets sitting in front of you. So starting with the campaign information, this is going to be a Word document that you can download. I have it up here so you can take a quick look. I do recommend starting with this because it just has some good information for you on kind of what the posts are. You can see there's a pre-campaign post to be posted on September 1st, 6 core campaign posts, and 1 post campaign. And then something to note here that's important is that day 3, there is not going to be a post for license and certificate holders. So as you're looking through those assets, if you see day 3 is missing, that is because you just don't have access to do that post. So this is important information. Would highly recommend starting with that. Again, that can be downloaded from this campaign information here. So moving into the key visual, that's going to be that standard Forest Week logo. You will see here it's available with the Circle R registration mark and the TM registration mark. So make sure that you are selecting the one that makes sense based on your market. If you are in the US, you are most likely going to be using the Circle R. However, if you go up to guidelines, and click through that, there you will find, and I can show you at the end, you can find the registration list of all countries and the registration symbol that applies to that country. So if you are unclear, you can look at that list or let us know and we can help you determine which one to use. And then there is a guide on using the key visual. I would highly recommend taking a look at this as well. There are some specific graphical requirements around how to use this key visual. So if you are going to use it and kind of make your own assets, definitely take a look at this guide so that you know what those requirements are. Next, we have our digital and print assets. You can see Kate and I both have the digital background that we're using right now. So that is a great thing for you to use leading up to that campaign, during the campaign. That's up to you, but that is available to you and it is customizable. And then you can see here too an email banner as well as a print roll-up banner. So those are some other sort of asset options for you to use during that week or leading up to the week of Forest Week. And now the bulk of this content is going to be in that social assets category. So you can see when you click that, you have some additional filters that pop up. You can see you have the pre-campaign, post, core campaign, and post-campaign. So again, I find those filters very helpful as you're working through this content. So pre-campaign, you can see there is the video. Again, you have two formats. You have the 9:16 and the 4:5, and then each one in the circle R registration mark and the TM registration mark. So again, choose the one that fits where you plan to be posting, and whichever size or both that you plan to post. Moving into the core campaign, again, you are able to select the post date, or excuse me, the number of the post here. So you can see you've got 1 all the way through 6. I'm going to walk you through post number 5 because that is a customizable one. And I think it's a good example to kind of showcase what the options are here. So you can see here when you click on post 5, you have the social media copy and then you have the editable asset. So when you look at the social media copy, if you open it, this is what you would see. So you have this document, and one of the things that's a little different this year is that all of the copy for each post is in one document for all types of license holders. So you can easily click one of these to jump down to the language for whatever type of license holder you are, whether you are a forest management certificate holder, a chain of custody certificate holder, a promotional license holder, or an NGO. All of that copy can be found here. And you can see that there is copy for different platforms here as well, all the way from LinkedIn to X, TikTok, whatever you may be on. So that is all there for you to use. You can make changes to this copy if you would like. However, just note that if you do make significant changes, just make sure that it is following the trademark guidelines or trademark standard. And that does need to be submitted for approval, whether it is to your certification body, if you're a certificate holder, or to our office if you are a promotional license holder or an NGO posting via a one-time use agreement. So that is where you can see the caption information. Excuse me. And then let's get into customizing this asset. So if you go ahead and click it open, you are going to see a few different options here. And actually, let me just refresh this so that there we go. So you can select the format here. You can either do 4:5 or 9:16. And you'll see as you're making these selections, this preview window is going to show you what those selections look like. So tree cutout, yes or no. You can go ahead and make that selection. This gray box indicates the image. So you can upload your own image. This is a great opportunity to upload any imagery that you have to showcase, whether it's of forests or of your products. That is a great opportunity to kind of customize this in that way. And then similarly, you can upload your own logo, and that would appear, it's going to pop up kind of right here above your license code. This license code is also going to automatically show your specific license code as you're logged into the Brand Hub under your license. So that will automatically update as well. And then finally, again, that trademark symbol selection. What's nice about these assets is you can choose, you could either do manual, which is what we discussed before, where you would just select either the trademark or the circle R if you are aware of which one you should be using. However, if you aren't sure, you can actually select automatic. And then you would just select the number of countries that you plan to do this promotion in. If you are planning on just promoting it on your general social media channels that are based in the US, you just go down and select United States, and then it would automatically update to the correct registration mark. You can see there. So that is sort of a quick showcase of what you can customize on this specific asset. And then of course you can download a variety of file types here as well. And then finally, you can see here, if you go to that post campaign, you can see the post campaign post as well. This one is also customizable. So social media copy involved with that one as well. So that is where all of these assets live. That was a little bit of a quick walkthrough for you on what that looks like. So if you have any questions as you're getting into the Brand Hub, as you're registering, if you're unsure how to access these assets or customize them, please let us know. And again, these are just options to get you started. You can also, use the copy and create your own assets to use. We would be happy to work with you on creating new assets. So please feel free to reach out to us. Again, your level of participation and engagement is up to you. You can kind of take this wherever you would like to. Finally, a few tips for success before we go ahead and open it up for questions. So, planning ahead. We recommend that you work with your social media teams to make sure that Forest Week is on the schedule. We know that oftentimes social media calendars are set very well in advance. So just please also note that this campaign, while the specific dates might shift a day or two depending on the days of the week, they always take place at the end of September. So you can go ahead and make sure that you have sort of a placeholder at the third or fourth week of September moving forward. That is when Forest Week will always be happening. So that can be kind of a reoccurring reminder that you have on those calendars. Using authentic photos where possible. So obviously there's a variety of stock images and things that can be used, but we do recommend using images that are authentic to your brand and to your organization as much as possible. I think that's one of the great things about this campaign is seeing all of the different organizations across the supply chain, across the world, contributing to this campaign. And so seeing that visually through different imagery is really special. Along with that, telling stories, not just facts. So, telling your brand sustainability story beyond just the bare bone facts really helps consumers connect more deeply with this story. And that is the aim of this campaign. With that, too, you can keep your messaging simple. Again, take a look at those caption ideas. That should really get you started on sort of suggested